want us to talk about this thing. Conflict resolutions. When is enough enough? In any relationship, there's bound to be conflict. Nature or conscience. Welcome to the Bishop's Corner. I was talking to a tree. You know, in the days, people could talk to trees. And when I consulted a tree, I was informed and equipped, and I came with some solutions, and especially on matters pertaining to a country that we love so much called Kenya. I talked to a tree, and I was wondering what is wrong with us Kenyans, and especially the people of Mlima, as they have been called, people of the mountain. And as I was engaging, I asked, why is it that we are so individualistic? We don't come together. Why is it that we go our own way? And this tree told me, the problem with these people of Mrima is one. They were one of those early natives that got encountered with the Westerners, or rather the colonialists when they came. The British loved their land, the highland. It was arable land, and they were quick to engage with the people of the mountain. And after the people of the mountain stayed with the Muzungu, as they would call him, they realized at the end of the day the difference between them and the colonialists was money, Becha. They realized with the Becha, with money, they could live well, they could build homes, they could buy cars, and they could adapt to the new style of living, which actually gave them an upper edge over other people, somewhat. And from there, and then, Becha became very, very important. Indeed, it became like the little idols, like little gods, that they would do anything for money. It's a joke that is said about the people of the mountain, that if you want to know whether a Kikuyu is dead, you drop some money. If he doesn't rise up, then you know he's dead. That's what they say about people of the mountain. But people of the mountain are very hardworking people. They are everywhere. In prison, in the grave, in any part of the world, in leadership, they are everywhere. But this issue of money has gotten these people to a point where they have underized so much that they can even sell their brother or sister for money. And instead of following their conscience, money becomes the determining factor. So that even when you don't have money, you are irrelevant. Can I surprise to tell you that even within the church circle, if you are poor, Nobody wants to listen to you. It's about money. It's about what I can get out of this deal. What is my cut? To a point that you don't care about your conscience, your morals. It's about Becha, Becha, Becha. A few days ago, was it yesterday? I was listening to a renowned lawyer called Haminwa. And he used that word, Becha, saying that Becha has actually gotten into parliament, the Senate, and he was worried that that Becha would even go to the judiciary. Because when money is exchanged, some people can even sell their kids for money. So what has this money done? I'm one of them from that culture, and I want to get our people out of this. Because money is not everything. Money makes you sell your brother. You sacrifice your brother, your sister on the altar because of the cut you're going to get. And some other people have mastered watu wa mlima. Onyeshe tu Becha, and anything else becomes secondary. And I want to charge all of us. I'm going to be using some of the proverbs that we know. Among the people of the Mrima, there's a saying that says, do not be led by the stomach. Even when you go to an engagement and you're in a conversation, then maybe there's a debate, there's a quarrel, and you are asked to meet somewhere, don't fill your stomach. Because once you fill your stomach, you become complacent, you are satisfied, you even forget about being just or being fair. Money. Money sold the Son of God. Look at what's going on in Kenya. We hear that if you want a vote from our people, mutandike milioni 5, milioni 10, anasahau kila kitu, you forget about everything. And the sad thing, it has even gotten into the churches. Or you need to go offer, fundraise, and give them money. Do a project. And you're gonna buy their conscience. That is the sad part of it. My people, it is time watu wameamuka wajue kwamba money is not everything. Because we're going to sell a generation and you will have everybody laughing at us. But I'm not going to dismiss everybody because I still think we have some remnant. In the days of Jomo Kenyatta, there were people who are being given money or land for that matter. And by the way, there are two things I was told by the three: Becha and Mogoda. Becha, Teri. Becha and the soil. You give that to the people of the mountain. They are happy with it. These things are good. They are good commodity. Don't get me wrong. I need them. But they should not come before anything else, because there are other important things in life like virtues, morals that should govern us. After the independence, the Muzungu knew what this person of Mlima would want. Becha, Teri. And the first leaders, the leaders who were the first political leaders, they knew they would compromise anybody by giving them land or money. But I'm grateful that there are people who stood up and said, no, People like Koigi Wawamwere. There are people who would walk on the streets and they will not be listened to because they don't drive those V8. They don't have chunk of land measuring 1,000 acres. People like J.M. Karioku who died because they refused to compromise to go the short way. And many are being asked, what's your problem? I'll feed you, and then you zip your mouth. And then we have found ourselves, unless you swim like anybody else, when you stand out and remain a remnant, you'll be like swimming upstream, and you're not going to get anywhere. That is the sad part. Becha, for our conscience. You know, the sad part is that other people have learned the game. And I'm calling ili tusichekwe that all we care about is money, that we can sacrifice our own. It's time to rise and to listen to our conscience. Rise as a community and know better. You know, it is becoming so hard now to even know who to believe now in terms of leadership. Corruption is everywhere. If you need anything, you must offer something to grease the process, as they would call it. In our recent episode, we talked about how people have compromised and how they even come with the name of God and they get elected the positions, and how money exchange hands. So the citizenry wanauliza, who do we now believe? It's not the clergy, not the bishop, not pastors, not even the educated, because the problem with Kenya is not that we don't have educated people. It is not that we don't have informed people. We lack people with morals. I had a professor back home at St. Paul's University who would tell us that we have educated fools. Educated fools. So degrees and diploma and academic don't mean anything anymore. You can have the academia, you can have all the knowledge, but no morals. It's not a degree. We find people with PhDs, but they cannot be trusted with the institutions. They're so greedy. We want more. We have this insatiable need that can never be filled. People are talking about 2027. I hear people are amassing money, getting money so that they may have money to bribe, because that's the only way. People who go out in the marketplace, they are given 100 shillings, 200 shillings, 300 shillings, 500 shillings just to mobilize people to come and build a crowd so that people can come out. Becha. Wanasema pesa ni mvuja mlima. That once you have the money, anything goes. With the power, with money, everything goes. Is that where we are? Is that how we have reduced ourselves, that we cannot have something delivered, even in terms of political leaders? It doesn't matter how many you are, in parliament, how rich you are. I can buy you with 10 million, 20 million, whatever it will take. Is that where we are? Where will the poor person feature? What about if you don't have money? Where is our conscience, my friend? Why do we sacrifice our own? Look at the list about the deputy president. I don't know by the time you're listening to this, I don't know whether he will have been impeached completely or not. But the thing is, what is the motivating factor? Is it what he has done that other people have not done? Or is it all selfish gain? Somebody has said there is no gentleman agreement in politics because goalposts can change any time. So where do we stand? For Igiji, my brother, my younger brother, because you're younger than me, let me tell you, if you ever get another time, don't you ever go hunt without a dog. Because you know how it was in the days when you were little boys and all that. You don't join other hunters just running after the deer and you don't have a dog to catch. Because once the deer is captured, those dogs will get a bigger portion. In fact, people will ask you, where do Managwe? You didn't have any dog. Don't you ever hunt without a dog? And you know what I mean by that. There is no gentleman agreement in politics. You've learned it the hard way. You needed a dog to get into the political arrangement. You trusted so much. And what are we learning? You walk with the people, you start well in the spirit, you end up in the flesh. And that is why the country gets confused, because we don't know which way. Do you know what I'm suggesting? That I have a radical suggestion. We as preachers go propagating the name of Jesus. If you may, to use a marketing tool, is that we go to market Jesus. We live in a very antagonistic world with so many forces, spiritual forces that are at war. And as the song goes, stand up for Jesus. Musiangushe Peramu, don't let the flag of Jesus go down. You go high, go preach to the world. Talk about Jesus. Talk about deliverance. Talk what we can do. Talk about the good thing about Jesus. Do you know what we need to do as Christians? And we're going to begin here in the diaspora. And I'm ready to do that. Let us call people of good repute. Because I still think there are some remnants. There are people who cannot be compromised. I know politicians who will not, who have suffered because of not compromising. They may not be having all those wealth. They may not have amassed all that wealth. But they are true to their conscience. How about we in the diaspora, or whatever that group will be? We sit down by 2027. We can go through the list. And I call the Gen Z or other like-minded people. Let's go by the list and know them. Shortlist them. See who has been compromised. See who has not been compromised. So see who has stood up. See whose testimony can withstand the times of the day. You know when Judas betrayed Jesus, they wanted to have a replacer. And one of the conditions for a replacer before they cast the lot, because they voted, they made sure whoever is going to replace Judas must have witnessed the resurrection of Jesus Christ. must have been a follower of Jesus Christ, and must have witnessed the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In other words, they have been transformed. How about we solicit? And we can solicit fund. We can also bring billions of dollars or shillings. Get together for what? Not for us to have any position, but to have civil education. Bring out those women and men who have not compromised. Go around Kenya. Say, for these people we have witnessed about. Kapengoria, for these people. And we'll invite people to bring papers. Bring your CV. Bring your history. Analyze your wealth, how you have acquired your wealth. Bring it. Let's sit around the table. And let us identify people and go around the country. Let's raise money. Identify true women and men and paste them and say, from this, cast your ballot. That's one way of countering what's going on in Kenya. That Becha we shall use, because in marketing, the people who prepare people to leadership, the oligarchy in Russia, here in America, we know there has to be a lot of funding. Let us not fool ourselves. We must do that marketing. Identify good leaders. Look at their CV, support them, and announce across the country, these are people who've been vetted, and in the name of God, please. And then we go to the knees and pray to God. And I pray for once, people will listen and get people who are not tainted. Otherwise, who else do we believe? The churches cannot offer any solution because even them, they are compromised. I'm saddened to know that current residents, ministers will go there not for prayer, but for envelopes. This is the trick they played. They tried to do that to me way back in 1992 when I was a minister in Voi. Let me tell you what they do. They come to you, and because they know you have followings, and I will say this because it is a fact. I had a cabinet minister in the name of Honorable Eliud Mwamunga. He was a member of my congregation. And one day, some people, intelligence people, would approach me and they would say, Pastor, we see you are a good leader. You are vocal and we love your dynamism. But there is some politicians who are in your congregation who are not in line with the government. And my antenna rose and say, we would like for you to monitor for us what their thoughts are. And I said, wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me, a member of my congregation, instead of helping him to grow closer to God, are you trying to insinuate that I am going to become a recruitee so that I monitor and try to kind of push him from church? The guy was going to tell me, hey, Pastor, cool down. Listen, by the way, this is not for free. Oh yeah? Yeah. I'm going to be giving you 8,000 shillings a month. For what, may I ask? Just to be one. And I said, how many of us, how many have you recruited? He said, 8 in the province. Taita Taveta district. That was district then. And he said, you're going to be paying me 8,000 shillings to do what? To be a spy. They didn't use that word, but to be used by the government so that you become an agent. To tell us what's going on, especially targeting this politician who has failed from the government. They touched the wrong button. Oh, my friend, those are the days when we I didn't believe that. But you know what? I told them that the church gives me salary. And I don't need a single penny. Not that 8,000 could not do anything to me, because that was a lot of money. Actually, that was almost double of what my church was giving me. Over the top, giving me demands and all that. But I stood, and I had to alert other people, government officials who were in my church, to say, hey, I'm being followed. And let me tell you, that guy followed me so many days, trying to beg me to recruit me. Becha. He knew I'm a Musapere, and this guy is from the mountain. There's no way he's gonna refuse money. How many of us have been compromised to a point where you cannot point out to injustice because of money? Money saw the Son of God. Because when we see money, Mvuja Mlima, we think we have it all. That is not all there is in life, my friend. And therefore, my friends, what of Mlima? Becha is good. But why do we sacrifice our own? Why do other people laugh at you? Because of loving money to a point where you can even sacrifice your own. Let's step back and realize there's something more valuable than the Becha. Character, virtues, morals. If we don't, we shall be scattered. We'll fight among ourselves. And before we know it, we'll be a laughing stock. For clergy like me, in ecclesia we have no moral authority, even to point fingers, because we are throwing stones from glass house. And then you are telling us we are going to be the conscience of the society. One of the proverbs we have is that Mosharia Borina Omerei Dagemiona. In other words, if you are looking for a goat, how can you locate it? And you are one of those who ate it. So if you find some people who have gotten a goat and they are slaughtering and they are barbecuing it, and you participate in eating, and then you hear the owner of the goat asking, have you seen my goat? How can you locate where the goat was slaughtered and you have eaten? You cannot see it because we are blinded. We have become part of it. Becha is not everything. It is so sad that we can sell one another because of money. You can actually get money to have a brother killed. You can have money to sell your own. Let's go back to the days when you stood for what is right. You kicked the white man out of those highlands because you believed there was something bigger than that person. Your land, your country, your integrity. I'm not saying we hate money. Becha is good. Megoda is good. But let us know better than that. God bless you. See you.